Alright, what's up, guys? So, a channel by the name of Hi Fluffy 420 has uploaded a video titled Just a Robot is Just Sad at this point. Yeah, I have been seeing some things, newer things of Just a Robot, and it comes off as if like he's trying to just brush all this stuff under the rug. Like he's trying to make it seem like that, oh, it doesn't matter anymore. But I don't think he understands like all this stuff that you're being called out for. First off, being this situation with Cinnabear, where yes, you defended the pedophile, did the stuff following afterwards. Even it's like the VidCon situation, the racism, the sexual harassment. I'm saying it's like you can't just make it seem like that, oh, none of that stuff matters no more because I say it doesn't matter, or I'm thinking along in my head that it doesn't matter. So that's why I'm like, yeah, it's one of those cases and situations where he is going to eventually have to figure it out himself that, oh, I did mess up. And who knows, maybe that might happen sometime this year. Maybe that might happen sometime next year, whenever. But yeah, overall, it just hasn't hit him yet that he messed up. Like, and he's just gonna try to continue on. He's making it seem like that he ain't gonna continue on with the drama. But yeah, just with some of the stuff that I've seen, I think he's trying to, I guess, focus on people that are getting hated on more than he is, I guess. And it's like, bro, stop it. Just stop, man. But anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and check out this video. Make sure if you guys haven't, go subscribe to Hi Fluffy 420 for more videos like this. And with that being said, it sound like this like that background music. It sounds like if you like played like PlayStation 2 racing games, like it sounds like something that should be in like Midnight Club, or like I'm trying to think of some other racing games from back then. It's been a while. I'm like, my memory is starting to get a little bit more faint. But anyways, no, but it just sounds like that's what that like sounds like. It sounds like that old classic PlayStation 2 racing music.
I find it kind of sad when someone you once had respect for ends up not being worthy of any of it when they've done so many things for the wrong reasons, and can't seem to stop the cycle of dumb decisions. And whenever there are people who have done their best to try to keep them from continuing said cycle, a hard lesson to remember is that you can't help someone who won't help themselves. Doing and being better is a genuinely difficult thing to accomplish, as it forces you to look inward, take note of what can be improved upon, and proceeding to do so. However, when you come to realize that the subject matter is a robot with the presumed ease to just reprogram himself to simply be better, but just not do that time and time again due to lacking self-awareness somehow, you could most likely come to the conclusion that this robot is one you don't need to be afraid of if we are unfortunate enough to deal with a Terminator situation. Dude's more fit to be a Roomba than literally anything else. Then again, probably not, considering he can't even clean up his own messes properly. Maybe a talking fan? I don't know. Y'all could probably think of something better, but roll the intro.
You never know for what or when you'll be cancelled. Maybe you were live streaming and you suddenly screamed out the N-word. Maybe you lied about a drama which caused people to dig into your past about other dramas you have talked about. Maybe you're completely innocent and the allegations against you are false.
Nice to see that aged like milk in the summer sun.
I thought this was pretty cut and dry. You got accused, docs were made, there's so much evidence in the doc, they're so long, you must have done it because you admitted to it. So I was working on my video and then I thought, I just had that feeling, the same feeling I got when the Peaches drama started, the same feeling I got when the Spockter drama started. It's that feeling I get in the back of my neck that just tells me
that's the thing that he fails to understand, that it's like everybody is not when somebody gets called out for something or some stuff goes down, you can't think along the lines like, oh, well, it's gonna go down like how this situation went down. No, them are two different situations. You can't compare the two. Yeah, if similar things might have happened or the same thing might have happened, but that's the thing though, you have to understand, Cinnabear is her own person, you are your own person. The people that you want to mention and talk about, they are their own people. You can't like, oh, well, when the heat is getting too strong, I guess for Cinnabear and myself, I got to point fingers into other people. And I think that's what he thinks too, is that if I mention these names, people are not going to be paying attention to Cinebear, so I'm just going to use pretty much what the video was him trying to, I haven't seen the video, but I imagine that's what the video overall was yes, him trying to defend Cinebear, but also point the fingers at other people, are like, oh, well, they did these same things, and they're not being canceled like Cinebear, and it's like, because they're not Cinebear. I'm like, that's the thing, though, where I'm like, how was their apology videos, and how was Cinebear's apology video? She did an apology video, deleted that, and then doubled down on her actions. How do you defend that? So, yeah, it's like, bro, come on now.
It's not right here. And I thought about it, and I was like, Cosmodor did not admit to grooming until it was too late. Neither EDP to this day has not admitted to doing anything wrong. Groomers don't fucking admit
because it was clear as day. They don't need. The thing is this: there is some cases and situations where a person even got to admit to whatever it is that they did. The evidence is there, so the only thing that they really can do is apologize. But anyways,
anyone who knows my actions in the commentary community knows I regularly went to bat for Jar. I was there to give him advice. I mitigated and mediated conflicts he had with other creators, among other things in relation to his actions on this platform. I did this because I honestly thought Jar was just severely socially awkward, and I thought he could be better in multiple ways if he just had a decent guide from someone that actually cared.
Yeah.
Jar's made it public that he grew up in a very strange household. He was homeschooled all of his life, and his mother was a younger creationist with thoughts that didn't line up with reality, whether it be scientific or biblical. I've known a lot of people that struggled like that growing up, so I assumed I understood Jar in a way a lot of others didn't, so I tried to help him learn to socialize better, to resolve conflicts through talking instead of video hit pieces on people. Despite what people may think, I haven't spoken to Jar in several months. Even though I thought he was a friend, he never really checked in on me, or asked how I was doing during my drama, or much after.
It's like, yeah,
His
he
only
was
attempt
using.
to reach out recently was to ask me questions for a video he planned on making about me. I've gotten to the point in looking at my own actions and how I've handled things that not everything has to be a public call or dealt with using unneeded venom. So I was content with the fact that I realized Jar wasn't actually a friend. I was just someone he used to stop others from calling him out on his bad behavior. That's why a lot of his more recent content has been more unwell. I'm the person that told him not to do random videos on smaller channels that did videos on him he didn't like. I'm the person that told him not to defend people that weren't worth it. And I'm the person that told him to stick to his media reviews instead of mixing it up with people and giving in to his anger. The reason he's been acting the way he has on his channel recently is because he decided that my advice that's helped him in the past wasn't valid anymore. This is entirely his fault, and he alone holds the blame for that. Once I saw his video on Cine and how he acted in a stream with the user Chud Logic, I felt the right thing to do was to confront him on his actions in this case to highlight his overall problems. Before that video came out, I was content with letting what I thought...
It's either this. Somebody is in his ear telling him that, like, oh, you don't have to listen to these guys. You don't have to listen to Lio. You don't have to listen to Chud. You don't have to listen to nobody. You're just a robot. It's either somebody is telling him that or he's telling himself that. One of the two things. But anyways.
Will the friendship just fall off and let him eventually trip over himself and run afoul of a larger creator that won't be charitable to him? But his most recent video was just too awful. If it was received well, it could have done severe, lasting damage in the long run to a lot of people. I'm glad it got picked to pieces. Having spent several months looking at things in a removed manner, Jar's actions don't come off anymore like isolated events, but instead paint a larger and uglier picture.
You really need to stop spreading what is currently the unpopular opinion without looking into things deeper. But you keep making the same mistake over and over again.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
It's like, we got here because his brain doesn't know how to process when something is wrong. Here's the thing. This is his thought process. He knows that it's wrong, but he's still he wants to have that argument that it's right. Because I've sat down and I've thought of things like this where it's like, if like me and a friend, if we're sitting down talking about stuff, because I know I like playfully would do this with like my family and stuff, where if there's a movie that we both like, but then they start talking about how they like it, but I'll just for the fun of it say like, oh yeah, hated the movie, didn't like nothing about it, but in reality I'm like, nah, that was actually a good movie. I'm like, that's one of those movies where I will find myself sit down and watching it and stuff. But he has that as like an actual thought process where he's like, if somebody agrees, because like, let it been me that would have came out and said that, oh, I I'm defending Cinebear. He would have like no, he would have not came out with that video. He wouldn't have said that. He was like, oh no, it's aligning with my same thought process. So that means that I was thinking wrong. So now I gotta go in the opposite direction and stuff. And it's like, fam, it was that, and then just with stupidity, him not looking into the evidence and things. I'm like, fam, I don't even need to look into the evidence with Cinebear. But when like overall, like I guess like the main events, like like because I think they did come out with a smaller version of it and stuff, but still, like when like the stuff that she was doing, it's like, fam, even without reading the evidence, still know that girl is in the wrong. So yeah, it's like, bro, bro, I don't know how you thought like anything good was gonna come out of that, but. Yeah, it's like, and then just with all the other different things, I'm like, yeah, if you're new to Just a Robot, yeah, trust me, you're gonna see some things. But anyways.
Just a Robot, or JAR for short, has been quite the controversial creator for a while now, and at least when I first heard of him, I didn't think he was as bad or creepy as we now know. I prefer to give people the benefit of the doubt when first meeting and getting to know them, as even though there may be some merit to the complaints or warnings of others, I'd still rather not let the bias of others sway my opinion of someone. That, and I gotta be honest, I didn't really do my due diligence of properly doing a background check on him, so that is my fault. But unless the criticism gets to the point where things can't be excused, then that's different. But this isn't that case anymore. JAR got involved in a situation that I personally think was outside his computing power and is the catalyst of his current cancellation in process. And while he loves comparing current situations to past ones as if some similarities between them makes them the same situation and can be treated as such, no it doesn't. They just have some things in common. Just because something is similar does not mean it's the same. So the situation in question was with Cinebear03, an art commentator that got exposed for being very inappropriate with a child. Long story short, Cine was showing off explicit art to a 14-year-old fan of hers, talking very inappropriately with them, and was essentially grooming them in the process. It also came out that the person they were living with, who goes by the name of Birdie or Jack, was allegedly being sexually assaulted by Cine, being taken advantage of due to Cine knowing that Jack's mental state was unstable, which she planned on using to her advantage to just have someone to keep her company.
Wow.
However, if you want a more in-depth discussion about
so yeah, there's like, I didn't know that. I'm like, maybe it was mentioned and I just forgot about it. I didn't realize that there was like stuff going on between her and the roommate. Like, I knew that they had problems, I just didn't know what the problems were. But to hear, it's like, dang, that is it's like, man, he really sat down and thought like, yeah, I'm gonna do this hour and so video defending her and people are gonna like it. Wow, that's some crazy stuff.
Bear and all the drama she has been in and caused, I recommend this video. May the universe have no mercy on your soul and anyone else that does shit like this. I am so beyond tired of adults interacting with kids this way. Look, I get it. The internet is a space where people of all ages can and do interact. I'm not saying avoid kids, though if you have bad intentions, you shouldn't be allowed on the internet to begin with.
Yeah.
However, if and when you are in the vicinity of the youngins, it's really not that difficult to stay wholesome or just cordial with them. Unless they're the type of kids that act like demon spawns, then you have every right to
Nightmare.
But besides those two interactions, nothing sexual adjacent should be happening at all. At all. But aside from Cine getting the rightful backlash and subsequent canceling, I want to talk about the bucket of bolts that had the dim idea to try and defend her. I'm sure you all have heard in countless of his drama videos that he likes to refer to prior situations, like with Spocter, Pyrocynical, Hopeless Peaches, or literally any other specifically art commentary creator that have had some form of problem that put into question their character and to varying degrees of damnation. While I do understand taking some lessons from previous problems to solve others, JAR does it to a degree where he assumes almost every situation will be almost, if not just like the last one.
I've gone against the mainstream art commentary community opinion lots of times. I did it in the Peaches drama, the Antunes drama, and the Toby drama. Granted, the last one didn't go so well for me, but the other two went pretty well. I've won almost every single drama I've been in, even when I was on the losing side.
Now, there's still a few things I want to go over in his response video. Like for one, how this screenshot exposes something something I wish I didn't have to know or look into, honestly. But to rebuttal some of his points, one, it's wild to me that you were here apologizing to literally everyone else other than the people you actually owe apologies to. Your roommate, girlfriend, neighbor, your editor, and whoever else in your neighborhood or in your circle of people that you know personally could have been apologized to in private, as those people either don't really have platforms or aren't well known as you. On top of that, the people that really deserved
He
help
probably mentioned that because he was all like, oh no, he was like, hey, real quick, neighbor, I did an apology video, so if you want to watch that and show some support to that and things, thinking like, oh, they're gonna like the video, leave a comment, and all this other stuff. This like, bruh, your girlfriend and roommate, I can understand why they would support you in your content creating career. But the neighbor, I'm like, bro, don't talk to me. You're weird. I'm like, leave me alone before I call the cops. Like, get away from me.
Lio, Ponder, Mally, Chuli, Harley, Oranges, Callie. I'm pretty sure I'm missing a handful of names, but the fact that it's so many people that you've done wrong and it's hard to name them all says a lot more about you than literally anything else. And that's if they'd even want your
Yeah, it's like and that's the thing, even just throwing my name in the mix, it's like having it where your fans have harassed me, still to this day is harassing me, lied on my name. What else? I mean, then left racist comments, they've left comments talking about my appearance. I'm trying to think of some other stuff. Oh, harassed my friends. What else have they done? Yeah, it's like I've done videos talking about this situation, but yeah, I mean it is most likely gonna be some stuff new down the road. I mean, the latest was one of his fans was accusing me of bullying and sexually harassing people, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, how did y'all just come up with this? Like, you guys just ask like some AI technology that's like against me, or you just like sit down, think of a plan, and it's like, okay, well, this could be something that we could accuse them of. We haven't accused them of it before, so yeah, let's just accuse them of this. It might not be no truth to it, but yeah, there might be a person or two that'll believe it. It's like, yeah, the only people that are gonna believe stuff like that, there's somebody that already has it out for me. But I'm like a random person. I think they would sit down, do things the legitimate way, ask me questions, like overall, like do kind of like how cops would do when they're trying to figure out a case. It's like, okay, who are the victims, who was involved, we gotta ask them some questions, then we're gonna ask TMossBoss some questions. But it's like, you can't just make an accusation that there ain't no evidence, there ain't nothing linked or tied to it. So it ain't like how it is with just a robot, where yes, there is evidence of him sexually harassing people, there are evidence of him bullying people. I'm saying, it's like, you said, my thing is this: what grown man gets on the internet talking about he can't be in the same area of a 17-year-old girl because it's gonna freak him out and he's gonna have to run away? Somebody, the things that you're accusing me of, I'm like, fam, I think you got it reversed. I think you need to be accusing just a robot of that stuff. But it's just one of those things where I'm like, you can't help but laugh at him and his fans, because they're always gonna say something silly. I don't think there's ever been a time where they've said something and it made sense. To them, it's gonna make sense, but to the rest of the world, it's like, what are you guys talking about?
Apology at all at this point. Two, you do talk to people in general weirdly. It's something you've admitted to and something your roommate agrees with, and also something I can also back up, but that's for later. You don't have a filter regardless of who you're speaking with, and sure, I can say to never change yourself for anyone, but at least learn to filter yourself around people you don't know. Obviously, not everyone will take
the reason why I don't think that it's just too late for him. It's like he's 30 years, he's either almost 30 or is 30 years old. And something like this should have been told to him, like, years ago, like 20 years ago when he was a kid. Because I imagine that, yeah, he probably was talking like this. It wasn't no different. Probably, if anything, it was worse when he was a kid. And then as he got older, he filtered it to his likings, where it's like, it's still going to be shown and displayed, but at the same time, it's like, it's not going to be as bad as he was. Because I guarantee and I promise you, there's going to probably be some horror stories that we hear about just a robot, where it's like, he knows that it would be so damaging to him in his career. That's why he's probably not going by his government name. That's why he's most likely trying to keep his identity to a minimum when it comes down to content creation. But it's like, bruh, the thing is this: it's like, you can't hide from who you are, all right? it's one of those things where it's like you either gonna have to accept who you are, but at the same time, it's like who you are is not a good person, so you ain't got no other choice but to change it. But no, the thing is this. I just remember there was and this was a video, I don't think it was uploaded by Just a Robot, but it was somebody that either it might have been uploaded by him or and then somebody just clipped it and posted it on social media. But I do remember coming across this clip of Just a Robot talking about when he went on a date with a black woman. And I think she asked him, like, what is your favorite type of train? Normal question. My thing is this. If I was asked a question like that, I'm like, I didn't realize. I probably would say something dumb just to overall have her laugh. And I'm like, fam, I didn't even know. I mean, I know that there's multiple different types of trains out there. Like, we got Honda trains, Ford trains, Chevy trains. But I'm like, I don't know trains like that and things. But I don't even be paying attention to trains. Like, I guess that I'm like, oh, yeah, that train looked different than that train and stuff. Just so it could be like some comedy on the date. Just a Robot gets asked that question, and then he goes on to say, like, I don't know, what's your favorite type of chicken and what's your favorite basketball team? To a black woman. I'm like, you just don't say that to a black person, period. You don't say that to anybody, but it's like, fam, yeah, that's just to whoever that black woman is, she most likely didn't know of Just a Robot character. She just knew whoever he was that he tried to put out there and stuff. But it's like, yeah, bro, he needs to be with somebody that's just like him, so at least then it's not a situation where it's probably like a situation where his current girlfriend, which she's in right now, where she's probably trying to get out of that relationship. So, but anyways,
jokes the way you want them to, and it's for the best to just say those for the people that are closest to you and that know you best. At least that way people won't make stupid assumptions with you and whoever you're involved with in drama. If you were to get back into drama, because if I'm not mistaken, he says he's not doing this anymore. We'll see how long that lasts. 3,
exactly.
I understand being a bad judge of character. Some people just really have good masks to hide who they really are, but at the same time, damn, you could at least do some more research before trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho for almost everybody. Especially when you don't know these people personally.
Yeah.
Not like it hasn't bitten him in the ass before. You know, have you not heard, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, and all that jazz? 4, to go into a fictional depiction of a person is wild. Like, I get it. It's not super crazy to go into a fictional character. For some people, it was their awakening. But when that character is a representation of an actual person, you could, I don't know, keep that to yourself. It's not that difficult, dog. It also doesn't help that when the person you got the not safe for work art of has stated before that they don't feel comfortable with art like that of their character anyways.
I think this was the Jaden Animations person. Yeah, he asked a minor to draw inappropriate art of Jaden Animation, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, for one, she don't want that, and 2, I feel like that's just as worse where you're asking a minor, even if you are asking an adult still. That's just a weird conversation to be having with somebody. So yeah, it's like he definitely, and that's the thing where I'm like, people see and hear things like this, like his fans see and hear things like this, and they're okay with it. That's the thing where I'm like, wait, overall the like point that I'm trying to make with him and his fans, it's like he's misusing them, he's misguiding them, and his fans don't realize that because they're so caught up being on Just a Robot's good graces, and it's like, nah, bruh, there's so many different other people out there that you can be cool with. Somebody like Just a Robot, yeah, he definitely needs to have some time to himself, you know, and understand himself a little bit better. I feel like, and that's the thing where it's like he does, but I think he needs to understand that he needs to change more so. But anyways.
Boundaries.
Motherfucker, do you speak it?
Nope, not talking about this one. I don't care. 6. The VidCon complaint is honestly really stupid. No one relevant to this situation said anything about this until you started the conversation. Yes, Ponder had a video in which she mentioned that she had an uncomfortable interaction with another YouTuber at a VidCon, but she never said who the person was, and only the people in the group knew who it was. I've seen the video, I know what he's talking about, or at least I know what is referenced in this situation, and frankly, I didn't know who she was talking talking about, and I don't see what the issue
Nobody
was.
would've.
But you started the conversation with Lyo, and then somehow it got to Kumo, who misrepresented the situation entirely. So you should have gotten mad at Kumo for this, not Ponder. 7, this kind of goes back to the bad judge of character. Why allow someone on your channel that you knew was bad news? It really seems that you just never learn your lesson with people.
Nah.
He explains that Zaid or Miss Anthroponi was someone that would repeatedly threaten others online through alt accounts because he didn't like them or some other petty reason, and pretending that it wasn't him. Jar took it upon himself to help Zaid by allowing him to use his channel to upload, because as Jar said, quote unquote, fans missed the content and it also gave him a kickback. Well, the partnership ended because of the Cine drama, and even though Jar had agreed to get rid of the videos to the request of Zaid, Jar was being called a pedo defender by the same person he was trying to help. Sure, you can say it was scummy, but I mean, that's what it looked like at the time, so can you really be mad at him for it? For his reasoning for helping people that are being cast out by others, again, do some research on them before you end up screwing yourself over because you want to be someone's savior. Not everyone is worth saving. For more info on who Zaid or Miss Anthroponi is, I suggest this video. 8. The situation with Kumo can simply be explained with Jar saying this.
This is stupidly one of the main reasons as to why I thought he was onto something when it came to the Cine Barrow 3 drama. I thought to myself, if this guy has such a low bar to call someone a pedo or a groomer, but he doesn't think this person's a groomer, then he's probably right. Basically, I thought maybe I should listen to the least charitable guy being charitable for once. I thought people just weren't listening to him because, well, pretty much everybody hated him. Unfortunately, I forgot who I was getting myself involved with.
This was really dumb, and I will not repeat myself a third time. I'm sure y'all got it at this point. And 9, I want to address how his girlfriend apparently brought up some other creators that have dealt with their own controversies, but haven't stopped creating content. I feel like that's more of something Jar would say instead of her, but I'll take that with a grain of salt. Though with that being said, it depends on the situation they were in, which should be taken as a case-by-case basis. Let's go down the list of all
Yeah, and that's the thing where it's like, when you see a lot of them content. All right, so let's just use Keemstar for an example, and let's use his famous clip where he was talking to Alex. I ain't gonna say what he was saying to Alex, but yeah, let's take that situation. You know, that's the thing. I don't watch Keemstar, so I don't know if he still cracks jokes about that situation. I mean, if he does, then yeah, I guess he just got a different sense of humor than everybody else. But that's the one thing that I think that we have not seen since then is Keemstar promoting what he was talking about in that video is like racist harassment and stuff. So yeah, we don't see that from him. You know, I think he's learned his lesson. He realized that he has a platform that he needs to maintain, and he can't be carrying on like how he was in his younger days or in his earlier days of content creating and try to do that same stuff today. You, on the other hand, you're still doing the same stuff that you was doing 9 years ago when I very first came across you. So, like, really, when you sit down and you list out all these different creators that have most likely learned their lesson and they haven't been caught up in no controversy since then, yeah, even if it's something that might just recently happen, do you see a pattern? Do you see, like, this is an everyday thing? Because if so, then it's like, yeah, it ain't something that you got to bring them up. We all know that they're a bad content creator, so it's not something that you got to tell us that they're bad content. We know that they're a bad content creator, but if they're not doing those things today, how could you call them out on their behavior where it's like it's stuff that's irrelevant? Let's talk about what's going on right now, all right? But if we are going to mention these other content creators, are they still doing the stuff that they got called out for years ago or however long ago? Because if my thing is this, if they've since then apologized, if they're not doing those things on board, you can't call them out on something that they're no longer doing. So it's just one of those things where it's like to whoever his girlfriend is, it's like, hey, look, you're not a content creator. So that's the one funny thing about Just the Robots fan base, where it's the ones that are not content creators, but they try to have an opinion on content creation. And I'm like, hey, you don't even know about the business, so you go somewhere else, please. I'm like, don't come over here. I'll be like, yeah, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I'm like, my thing is this. I'm gonna listen to a content creator's, I guess opinion over somebody that doesn't really follow the business, because they ain't no different where it's like if I go up to a firefighter trying to tell them how to be a firefighter, who are they gonna listen to? Somebody with experience or me that's played firefighting the simulator? I'm saying, like, come on now. It's one of those things where I'm like, nah, if they come to me for an opinion, then okay, cool. Didn't nobody go to you for your opinion? That's talking to Just the Robots fans and his girlfriend. So why does your opinion matter? Like, that's, I think he just threw that in there thinking that, oh, it's gonna help me out, it's gonna make me look good. We still looking at you the same way, bruh. So anyways,
that he mentioned, and if you want to skip, the timestamp is here if you already know. Turkey Tom. I'm not sure what controversy Jar is referring to, as Tom has been through a lot, and well, of course it's his own fault, but I'll share all the things he's been accused of, to varying degrees of validity and deserving backlash. Being racist and bigoted, horribly reporting on the Bianca Devins tragedy, poorly reporting on the Pyrocynical allegations, being a hypocrite when it comes to doing proper research, though that's not towards his official channel, that's more a criticism towards his Tom Dark channel. But aside from this, Tom is still in general good standing. I do consume his content on occasion and I think it's pretty decent. However, outside of that, not my cup of tea. The quartering. Well, this guy is quite an enigma, as I tried my best to look into what his problem was, but the most I've gotten is that he's like an anti-SJW, to which is pretty cringe, but if I missed anything, please share it in the comments. I refuse to lose any more brain cells watching stuff like this, so I very much appreciate if you're already unfortunately well informed of his mess. Though I will say, if anything, Jar has an affinity of following in his anti-SJW content, so... Blair White is a well-known pick-me of the trans community that appeals to folks that really don't like people like her, but don't pass like her, as she's not like other trans girls. She hasn't really gotten canceled though. There are many who try their best to make others aware that she's not safe for the trans people, and well, not like us. And probably never will at this point. Seth the programmer. Honestly, I'll let Omni explain this one, as this is the most concise explanation of how bad Seth was.
The anime community basically opened up a can of worms and started an all-out war, with most of the spears being pointed at one single YouTuber by the name of Seth the Programmer. Yesterday, a bunch of large YouTubers who have worked closely with Seth over the years dropped videos exposing him. There's even a 38-page Google Doc that goes through great length to show nearly every terrible thing this person has done: gaslighting, manipulation, harassment, making fun of R and domestic abuse victims, forcing someone to eat literal shit to promote his Discord, scamming, doxing, and alleged pedophilia action. Yeah, I know. Seth has literally power scaled his level of hatred towards the people around him to be at the level of Frieza. From what I've learned, he's an egomaniac. He's somebody who takes anime a little bit too seriously and has probably, created his own persona based off the anime and made it his persona in real life. And with all the clout and success and money that he's received by being successful on YouTube, he has manifested into the form that he is now, Seth the Programmer.
With that being said, Seth didn't just get canceled, he was ostracized, and rightfully so. And wait a minute, I'm sorry, didn't you make an almost 3-hour-long video talking about this guy? Why would you... Oh wait, sorry. Why would your girlfriend even include him in this list of people that got canceled but persisted? Shouldn't she know what happened since you talked about it? And even if she did suggest him, why would you repeat this horrible example? Illuminations. Honestly, in my opinion, Illy isn't even that bad of a person. She just reacted poorly to this situation and was also influenced to react poorly by a friend. So the TLDR is, Illy made a video, The Perks of Being the Fat Kid. Think Before You Sleep critiqued it. Illy didn't like the response and told her fans to mass dislike the video, which caused more issues for her. While the situation is long over at this point,
that's something where I'm like, he shouldn't be, or his girlfriend shouldn't be bringing up stuff, because I'm like, Just a Robot, yeah, he might not say in exact words, go over there and dislike a person's videos, but he has had that happen. Like, he has thrown that in people's faces where I'm like, oh, I am capable of that. And I'm like, I feel like that to anybody that either has gotten into it with Just a Robot, or if you are, I guess, like, let's say if you're watching this video like sometime down the road and you're getting into it with Just a Robot, and that's something that you're worried about, I dealt with it for 4 years, and the funny thing is, he's never came out and told people to dislike my videos, but I think when we all watched the video that he made on me, I think we all understood the clear message and stuff. So, but yeah, it's like I had dealt with that stuff for 4 years, just nonstop dislikes, hate raids, all that stuff across my videos. And it wasn't even videos about like Just a Robot. It was like all my videos, any videos. If you guys know me, there's at times where I'm uploading like 100 to 200 videos a month. all those videos is getting rated with dislikes and stuff. So yeah, there was at the point in time where it was really being active, I was working. I had like a job in Seattle, so I wasn't as active as I should have been with content creating. But yeah, you can look through videos it's possible. I think there's like those them like plugins or web extensions where you could check a person's dislikes and likes and stuff. Go through like the last like maybe week of December 2016 all the way up until maybe April or May of 2020. Videos nonstop dislikes. Yeah, there's some of the videos that did good where they got a lot of views, and so it was impossible for them to do anything to those videos. But yeah, there was like videos from back then where it was like, yeah, if it didn't have a big influence behind them, yeah, those videos got rated with dislikes. So but anyways, like if I should, you know what, I should just do that, just kind of just like should do like a video just showing you guys each individual video that's gotten rated with dislikes. If I remember to do that, I'll do that one day. But anyways,
personally like to talk about it, as I feel there were some things that I didn't see many take into account, but let me know if that's something y'all would want to see. Tipster. Ooh, where do I start with this guy? Well, he's betrayed Tommy C for a few seconds of Keemstar praise while eventually going against him later on, getting involved with Suzy Liu and her copyright abuse while having the nerve to defend another copyright abuser because he liked the way her body sat in certain clothes, his obsession with making degenerate goon tweets while just trying to mask it as a meme, while also having a very real but very weird obsession with goth mommies, all while being happily married, I would assume, preaching about mental health and how important it is to take it seriously while treating someone who is clearly dealing with mental health issues so poorly, getting rightfully called out when he was constantly defending people that were his friends, at one point or another having weird interest in lolly content, and deleting a lot of his commentary content because he didn't like how Technicals critiqued him in one of his videos, which also prompted him to say that he was leaving the commentary community, among many other things. I probably missed a few things, but I felt like those were some of the most notable things. Also, while I may have gone on for a bit talking about Tipster, I only go in a bit more depth with him than some of the others because some of his actions reminded me of this metalhead while doing research on what Tipster's controversy was. If you know, you know. Nostalgia critic. As far as I'm aware, aside from a bad review, he's not really been canceled in the same way that everyone else has. In his case, he was vilified for being passive in a situation that required him to take action. The harassment a handful of people and creators dealt with while working under Channel Awesome's company. While he wasn't the main perpetrator of many of the claims against the company and the people that managed it, he was guilty of being a bit egotistical and spotlight hoggy. But at least today, he seems to be in a better place and has seemed to matured out of that phase. Keemstar.
Why am I still getting hate?
Where do we even start with this guy? Well, he had a racist outburst.
Justice, fucking righteous fucking Alex is doing this shit. You fucking
accusing an innocent old
man.
And
I heard that was like a mod for his channel at the time. I'm like, dang, bro, you talking crazy like that to your mods? That is insane.
RS glory of child predation, with his team having the excuse of, well, him and the other guy looked the same, so it seemed accurate. Having a weird multi-year long beef with Ethan Klein of H3H3, promoting crypto and NFT scams, being involved with FouseyTube, which is also Yusef's fault too, but that dude is a whole nother story, and I somewhat can't blame him for Yusef's problems, though he was an enabler at one point. Having wild takes on mental health, which didn't help when Etika, Lord rest his soul,
I was like, yeah, I was getting ready to say, I was like, I was thinking in my head, I'm like, what's it? I was like, there was some stuff with that one guy, Etika, too, where they was like, he had, I think he was like either like cracking jokes or he said he did something that was a lot of people were pointing fingers like after Etika's passing. They were looking at Keemstar like, you know, what do you have to say for yourself pretty much in that sense. But
decided to end his life playthrough early, and Keemstar was somewhat blamed for what happened. I mean, he's still relatively fine existing on the online ecosphere, but yeah, moving on. Vosh. Oh, fuck. Okay, he's a weirdo that justifies inappropriate relationships between adults and kids. He is disgusting towards women, and of course he wishes he was a horse.
It's funny how like there's like all these different creators that's that I guess just the robot's girlfriend called out. It's like if you take one thing from them, it literally equals up to just a robot. So really, you did. My thing is this: if anything's, you showed the influences that caused just a robot to be the person that he is today. But if it's not that, then it's like, okay, if like really in a way, I feel like that she did kind of call out just a robot when you sit down and think about it. It's like you named out all these different content creators where there's been things that you could sit down and pick from each of them, and literally you could place it in the same sphere as just a robot. So what did you accomplish with that? It's like I feel like mission successfully failed. Like I'm really trying to sit down and piece it together. It's like, how did you successfully fail a mission? Like I don't get that. But anyways,
Not a furry one, but a real one, and have bestiality performed on him. Don't believe me? Here's my evidence.
He sexually harassed a girl and then said she doesn't even deserve basic human rights.
Poppy is not worth apologizing to. She is barely worth the intrinsic human rights to which all human beings are endowed, okay?
He thinks he's so smart that he actively tries to justify for CP, just for fun.
It is possible for an adult and a child to have a sexual relationship and for it to have positive outcomes on the child as well.
Pedophiles, right, who buy child porn, would you say they should not be held responsible for doing that?
Yes. I would not say that it is unethical for a person to purchase child pornography.
Making fun of Asmund for watching the pedo show Dragon Maid while accidentally leaking his lolly folder.
This is an example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
And having his girlfriend draw the exact same childish anime character with eyes rolled into the back of her head, mouth open, blushing. In his folder is a character that is 12 years old, as well as other young depictions of girls sucking horse wieners. Vash wants to be a horse, by the way.
I'll make it clear. You can write this down. I want to fuck a woman as a horse. None of this is a secret. Just to be clear, you know, many jokes have been made about this, but I stand by it. My moral principles are rock solid. My feet are firmly planted in the ground.
There's more, but
yeah, I didn't seen some weird stuff before on the internet, but wow. That's because the thing is this, I'm like, when I do get myself involved when it comes down to like content creation, I show up, I do work, and I leave. If I do go and watch videos on YouTube outside of doing reaction videos, it's like Court Cam or Neighborhood Wars or Storage Wars or old Vanos videos. It's like, yeah, it's just stuff where I'm like, okay, it's things that I would watch on TV or content creators that I grew up watching, but it's things like that I hear for the first time, and I'm like, I don't get it. Like, how did this start, man? Like, what happened? What went wrong? Because yeah, that guy, he's definitely questionable. But yeah, that's some stuff where I'm like, sir, if he's still got a platform till this day, I'm like, YouTube. I'm like, I think you guys gonna have to do an investigation on somebody's channel, because somebody out here living reckless.
I'm gonna pack this one up quickly because I don't want to stay around the essence of his degeneracy any longer, or else I'll end up crowd. Plagiarism and false pedo accusations. This is all I found, but if there's more, please enlighten me through the comments. Thank you very much. With this list of people, I can definitely say that there are some similarities between Jar and a few of them.
Yeah.
And while some have stuck around, I can't say that's a great thing for all of them. For others, it's kind of best for everyone that they stay off the platform. But with Jar bringing up this list, I feel like he's trying to compare himself to them in a way, but more at the angle of, if these people can keep going, then so can I. To which I firmly disagree.
Yeah.
But as we all know, improper comparisons are Jar's bread and butter. Moving on, I want to get into some past lore between me and Jar.
Dang, I didn't realize. Like, going into this video, I didn't realize that there was history. I just thought that, but I'm just saying though, like, that's something that I have said before, that there are going to be people coming up out the woodworks talking about just a robot in a sense where it's like they have history and stuff, like whether it's co-workers from his job, I think that's one of the main reasons why he's went so long as this just a robot character, because he knows he knows who he is outside of just a robot. And yeah, it's one of those things where, if anybody that he worked with or grew up with that actually knows, because that's one thing about it where I feel like it's like that with a lot of different content creators, that there's two different, like, there's the content creating them, and then there's the personal life them. And I feel like, yeah, with Just a Robot, the personal life him, like, because I think what his name is Luke. Whoever Luke is, he don't want that to, I guess, like them two paths, Just a Robot and Luke crossing paths. Because yeah, there's people, I guess, in the Just a Robot sphere where they'll be looking like, dang, you did that. And then there's people in the Luke sphere where it's like, it doesn't surprise me that he did that. He's done worse. So that's why I'm like, yeah, it's somebody like Just a Robot. You know, there is gonna be a day, I feel like, that whether it's this video or it's gonna be another video in the future, or maybe a video that's already been uploaded, where it's gonna really do some damage to him. But anyways.
So, for some background knowledge, Jar and I had a short interaction from February 2021 to December of 2022. Though many of the interactions were short and sporadic. However, it was still something that at the time, I was excited about. I was talking to a much more experienced and bigger YouTuber, and again, I didn't really do too much research on him and gave him the benefit of the doubt. You can pause to read the messages, but there's a few particular moments I'd like to bring attention to. In December of 2021, he wanted to discuss a tweet that I ended up liking, though unfortunately, not only do I obviously not remember what the tweet was about, but both the tweet itself and the account associated with it were long gone by the time I wanted to get screenshots of them. So forgive me on that. But in this short conversation, he wanted me to know that something wasn't true in whatever the tweet was. While I again don't remember what exactly was said, I can remember that I liked the tweet for whatever sentiment that was portrayed. But anyways, I asked him what wasn't true about the tweet, something that I don't think was ever answered, definitely not in the DMs and probably not in the videos. After I asked him why in the midst of someone having genuine problems do you feel the need to correct people when 1, that is small and shouldn't even matter, and 2, someone is missing, he goes, put out fires when they're small. Continuing on, I ask, does every fire need to be addressed? Some might burn themselves out anyway. To which he replies, I've been doing this for years, so yes. Well, Jar, is it still working out for you to have to respond to every little thing about yourself or involve yourself in places or with people that don't need your cold robotic input? After that
I wonder how that kid is doing. Yeah, I remember when that video, because I've been a content creator for, well, a full-time content creator for 10 years, but I have been just overall a content creator for 15 years. And yeah, that was one of those videos when it very first came out, you know, like it still brings a smile to my face, but when it originally came out, it was bringing tears to my eyes. I was like, that kid was going off. What was it about, like Sonic the Hedgehog or something like that? I was like, yeah, that kid was going off. I'm like, you know, it's one of those things where I'm like, I feel like there's gonna be a day, there's gonna be like some Sonic movie that comes out, and I'm gonna accidentally like bump into somebody. I'm like, oh, my bad. And then he's gonna say, he was like, oh no, it's cool, man. But I'm gonna be listening. I'm like, dang, he sound and look familiar. Then I'm gonna probably end up watching that video. I'm like, dang, I just bumped into, because that video is some years old. He's probably an adult now. I don't know, but yeah, I'm like, it's like, dang, I done bumped into the adult Sonic the Hedgehog kid. I'm like, wow. I'm like, man, you realize you a legend in the Sonic the Hedgehog community? But anyways, continue on with the video. I got a little off topic, but anyways.
Interaction that honestly left me a bit sour. He asked me to like and comment on his second video talking about his past as a birthday gift to him. And yeah, I'll admit I was a bit salty about him asking me to do a birthday thing for him while not doing something for mine, though he did make up for that, thankfully, I guess. But since I brought up the topic of his past, yes, I'm aware of his past, and after rewatching those videos, while I get that he went through a lot, I can't say that him still holding onto all that is great, as of course now you're lashing out and projecting these people's horrible actions onto others that 1, haven't really given you any reason to do so, and 2, probably don't even know who these people are. It's not fair to literally anyone in this current time to be compared to some of the genuine psychos and assholes that you encountered almost a decade ago at this point. You've told your side of the story. Many people of the past have apologized to you. Move the fuck on. You still holding on to that pain is clearly only causing you more trouble than anything else. And yeah, I get it. Being on the spectrum means you tend to have a harder time doing so.
And that's the thing where I know people, I feel like they would try to like use this part of the video on me, but that's the thing. I'm not holding on to anything that Just a Robot has done. I'll bring it up. I'll let people know the situation. I see it more of just kind of like, I guess like if there is a content creator that's either dealing with it for the first time or you're getting into content creating and you're like, is this something that I have to worry about getting into it with content creators and stuff? I'm like, yes and no. It's like, yeah, there are going to be some people out there that are going to, I guess, try to attempt to get underneath your skin. But no, it's like it's something that you shouldn't feed into. Like that's one thing that I do regret is just feeding into Just the Robot's ways. Because this situation should have ended it should have ended back in 2016. But that's the thing, it's like me, and that's something that I have said before. More so when I was working at that job in Seattle, that I was very rebellious during that time frame. I ain't listening to nobody, so like that's something where I'm like my supervisor, employees, management, yeah, probably a lot of people could say that about me during that time frame. But as the years went on, I did get older, I got a little bit more wiser, and I realized, like, bro, I'm not accomplishing anything with this. So yeah, that's why I was like, 2020 when it came around, I was like, I'm not even going to. He makes a video on me, I'm like, cool, it's whatever. And he did. The funny thing is, it was like he makes this video talking about where I'm at right now. This was like last year when I was blowing up with the voiceover content, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? So I'm like, hey, you know what? It's whatever. I ain't gonna feed into that video. I don't care about it. But at the same time, though, like he was dying off as a content creator. So I was like, yeah, I just see this as a desperate attempt at trying to reignite old dramas. But I'm like, bruh, and I think, yeah, and he did say he was gonna make another video on me because I called him a pedophile. I'm like, yeah, you make a video explaining how to get away with being a pedophile. You talk about, oh, it was just a joke. Like it was you took the video out of context. No, you upload the video with no context. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I guess if somebody's actively watching your videos, they don't know. But I'm not actively watching your videos. That's why anybody else that most likely say the same thing as me, it's like they'll say that. But yeah, he was making another video on me, and I'm like, and that's the thing where it's like, if he does, that's one thing about it. Anytime when he has made a video on me, I've never been upset. I'm like, it's more so like, all right, well, let's just go ahead, deal with this drama real quick, and then just move on with my life, focus on some other videos and things, But yeah, now it's like, okay, he makes a video on me. It's like, it's whatever, bro. It's like, go ahead, make as many videos as you want on me. I'm at a point in time in my life now where I'm satisfied with well, I wouldn't say like where I'm at, but I'm comfortable with where I'm at when it comes down to content creation. And all that I really care for is just improving what I do got. So, but I know I ain't gonna get nowhere sitting around arguing with you and things, but anyways.
But did you ever get that therapy that you had mentioned in one of your videos about your past?
Probably
Maybe
not.
that helped not only with your coping mechanisms, but with your partial transformation from victim to perpetrator. As sure, you haven't done things as badly as the ones who hurt you. At the same time, you're in a way treating those around you as a means to an end, or just a stepping stone for you to grow your channel. This is the first time I've seen a mech leech, but for your sake, knock it off.
Final thoughts.
Earlier, I had mentioned that Ja owes quite a few people some apologies. While I'm more than sure that many of them probably won't accept them, I know that it at least...
I know people will probably ask, like, would I accept Just the Robot's apology? The thing is this. I would, but at the same time, I'm like, don't expect no friendship out of me. Yeah, apologize. I'm cool with that. Apologize. We go our separate ways. But it's what he did say that before, though, in the video where he was like, he'll never apologize to me. So it's like, all right, it's cool. It's whatever. I ain't losing no sleep over it and things. But yeah, it's one of those things where I guess, like, if he had a change of heart, he was all like, I apologize for all the crap that I put you through. I'm like, all right, cool. It's like, I wish you the best in life. I'm like, you stay in your lane, I'll stay in my lane. Cool, but it's one of those things though where I just feel like that him as a person, he'll apologize thinking that like, oh, okay, like it'll clear up the air right then and there, but it'll be a situation where he just kind of wants a fresh start, I guess, if something else were to happen and things. So that's why it's like, you really gotta kind of give his apology the side eye, because it's like, nah, I don't know if that's a genuine apology and stuff. I feel like, because you look at just with that response video that he did after this Cinnabare stuff, he apologized for what, like 5 seconds, and then start talking about a bunch of other different random stuff that didn't even matter. So that's why I'm like, can you really look at his apology as a traditional apology where it has some meaning behind it? No. So that's why I'm like, if he does apologize, it's like, I'll look at it side eye, and I'm like, all right, cool, I guess, thank you. And I'm like, but yeah, it's like, you stay in your lane and I'll stay in my lane. So
be a starting point, but it's never as simple as just saying you're sorry then moving on. You have to mean the apology and know what you're apologizing for. Otherwise, things will definitely stay sour and it not be great for your character, let alone your career. Betraying many people who once considered you a friend because of small stupid reasons just shows how shallow you are, and I really don't care how you want to spin it. Wanting to do anything to win a
Yeah,
drama
it's like
is
just cut people off quietly. I don't know how many times I ain't had to do that. Like I'll just be all like, yeah, I ain't cool with that person no more. I'm like, yeah, like I haven't been cool with them in years. But I'm like, it ain't something where I'm like, I gotta make a big deal out of it and stuff. But yeah, with him, he's like, nah. If he was like, if you so much as breathe in the same air as somebody that I got issues with, nah, he gotta make like 15 different videos, tweets, social media posts, anything like anything that he's attached to. What more so talking on platforms. Oh yeah, he'll go on other people's videos and talk about you and stuff. He was like, yeah, they breathe in, they blink the same amount of times as somebody that I got issues with. And it's like, bro, who cares, man? Who cares? That's it. That's all we trying to figure out.
is not a good look and never will be. Also, having people there to only strengthen your echo bubble will only make the eventual burst hurt that much more. And I'm specifically directing this to Professor Dreadlock. The fact that you
I had a feeling that this was probably because of that call that he involved himself in, where he's like, "Oh no, I gotta help my friend out," and it's like, bro, nobody asked for your opinion. That's why I said if there is ever a time where me and just a robot have a call and his roommate want to chime in and all that, I'm like, I'm not gonna continue on with this call. So that's one of those things I'm like, either he could step out or I'll step out, one of the two. But I'm like, I'm not going to continue on with this call and ain't nobody going to get no content. So I'm like, yeah, I'm like, you guys play that game if you want to, but I ain't getting involved in that. So
have to almost always have this guy basically talk for you in debates, and I mean that lightly, is beyond childish. You are a grown-ass man. Learn to speak for yourself and not your token knight. That's big embarrassing. It was more than insufferable to listen to the call between them and Mally, and also massively unfair to do a 2-on-1 debate. Though I will say Mally, of course, handled herself as well as she could despite everything. If I'm not mistaken, Jar said that he's gonna step away from making commentary videos on people and go back to making commentary on media, which I don't know. I think you should just get off your platform and just consume stuff, because I personally don't think you have the understanding of nuance, critical thinking skills, and ability to have some form of empathy to properly critique anything, and definitely not anyone, let alone media. You've shown you can't do that in good faith, nor will you even try to do a better job at it, at least at this point in time, with the way you are now. Improve that first, then maybe try again. And for the love of all that is and isn't holy, you need to find something else to be more proud of. The whole "I'm way more sexist than I am racist" thing is not the Medal of Honor you think it is, and really shows that regardless if it's a joke or not, you still don't see a problem with being openly offensive, yet you get upset when people call you out on such behavior. Please grow the fuck up. Oh, last but not least, fuck you for not telling me who made this beautiful piece. While I do appreciate the gift I had to ask for because you were too self-centered to notice my birthday passing a month before yours, even though you commented on the video that I made on my birthday. If the artist of this piece just so happens to see this part, or someone knows the artist and recognizes this, please let me know, as I've literally been wanting to thank you personally for years, as I love the way you drew my character. You did a wonderful job, thank you. I love it. Oh, and please don't go into my DMs asking why I didn't come to you about any of this. I don't owe you anything. And even if I did, it's not like it would have mattered, as even with the people you once respected,
he would have twisted it into a way where it's like, that's the thing. I feel like that it's, you know how like in the Incredible Hulk where he was sitting there meditating and then that thing popped up talking about days without incident, and it just all of a sudden just went down to zero. That's gonna be just the robot as soon as he drops that first drama video. He's like, days without making a drama video, 572. Then it's just gonna just start like going like 400, 300, 200, 100, all the way down to zero. He gonna drop that one drama video, then it's just going to just start a whole wave of a bunch of different drama videos. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I just and from what I heard, like he did make a video talking about somebody, I guess, that's been recently getting canceled. And it's, I think it's uploaded on his other, like the least subscribed channel, because he got two channels, both with the same names. I think it's the lowercase just a robot channel. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like he still ain't learned. He still try to, like, I guess, like take the heat and, you know, tension off of him and have it focused on other people. But it's like, bruh, if a person goes to your channel, they're going to talk about you. They're not talking about other people unless it's a fan of yours or something. But anyway,
Didn't even take their word for anything either, so I wouldn't dare waste my breath. Besides, once again, Jar, I already told you so.
Is that it? That was a good video. Conclusion.
This whole situation with Jar's need to be the winner in whatever drama he's in, coupled with the demolished remains of many bridges he once had, leaves him stranded on an island of isolation that he created himself. The only way it's bound to get fixed is when he truly understands how people work, to learn, or I guess relearn, some empathy, and understand that not everyone will like you, and that is perfectly okay. There's like 8 billion people on this planet. The ones that do like you should matter more than the ones that don't, as there's also plenty of people that don't even know who you are or that you exist. Life is way too fucking short to worry about things like that, especially when you end up spending most of it alone due to tendencies pushing people away from past trauma you hold on to as if your life depended on it. If you really had therapy, please go back to it. If you said you would but didn't, it's never too late to start. Picking a good therapist takes time, but when you get the right one, please don't pick a fight with them when stuff starts to get uncomfortable. That feeling is called self-reflection, and that's important for the sake of growth. This video was meant to be out a long time ago. However, things got busy on my end, but I'm glad that I finally got it out and published. It's good to be back. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And until next time, stay high, stay hydrated, stay out of trouble, please, and thank you. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Yeah, that was a pretty good video. Like, he needs more people where it's all like they're, because I'll have to say, like, I looked at this video as more of a, like, in a sense of a tough love video where it's like she's not trying to be disrespectful, but I feel like it's kind of hard with somebody with like just a robot. But at the same time, like, she's kind of, I don't even really know how to put it. It's like it's one of those videos where it's like he needs to sit down and watch it and learn something from the video, but who knows? Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But anyways, no, it was a good video though. Shout out to High Fluffy 420. Now that's a straight up tongue twister if you say it too fast. But anyways, make sure you guys go subscribe to them, show them the most amount of love and support. Like, subscribe to me too, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.